The American Bus Association presents Motorcoach Travel News. Here's Dan Ronan.
Welcome to the October edition of Motorcoach Travel News. I'm Dan Ronan in Washington. Monday, October 29th is a very important day in the motorcoach industry. It's the day that the Americans with Disabilities Act takes full effect. Here are some of the key points of the law. If you're a Class 1 fixed route motorcoach company in 2012 and your company does more than $9.3 million in gross sales, the law considers your business a large company. On October 29th, your fleet must be 100% ADA compliant. You must ensure that each coach you operate, whether owned or leased, is ADA accessible and lift equipped. You're considered a small fixed route carrier if the company does less than $9.3 million a year in business. Small over-the-road companies must continue to provide transportation to people with disabilities on a 48-hour advance notice or provide equivalent service. There's no deadline when all or part of the fleet must be accessible. The 48-hour rule, which has been in effect for several years, remains the law for all charter companies. Now, this is important. Over-the-road companies that provide what's called mixed service must meet the requirements for each of the fixed route and demand response segments of their service. It's important you comply with the law and follow it. The ABA staff has extensive experience on the law, and we're here to help. Our email is abainfo@buses.org or call the ABA office at 1-800-283-2877. That's 1-800-283-2877. It's a new day for Greyhound and Peter Pan here in Washington, D.C. at historic Union Station right behind me. With a ribbon-cutting ceremony, the two motorcoach companies moved from the downtown Greyhound terminal near the ABA headquarters to Union Station. The move has been years in the works, and it took countless years of negotiation to make it happen. Greyhound and Peter Pan are joining several other bus companies in the newly refurbished facility. And it finally achieves the dream of the 19th century architect Daniel Burnham to have a truly intermodal transportation center in downtown Washington, one that incorporates city buses, motorcoaches, Amtrak, regional rail, and other forms of transportation in one location.
700 million people took bus services around the United States. And the biggest carrier in the United States is, of course, Greyhound. And why shouldn't they be located here? And why shouldn't our citizens, regardless of the mode they travel, be treated like first-class citizens and have first-class connections to get where they want to go? So today's an example of getting it done. We're doing it.
The old Greyhound terminal in Washington is now closed. Eventually, it will be torn down and redeveloped into mixed use with offices, condos, apartments, and retail. Congressman Micah says the Union Station plan will be duplicated at other locations across the country, bringing motorcoaches into more rail stations, making them true full-service intermodal transit facilities. For both Greyhound and Peter Pan, the move to Union Station, along with the other motorcoach companies that are already there, is another big positive step for the industry. Motorcoach Travel News, MTN, continues in just a moment.
Safety. It's what the Bus Industry Safety Council, BISC, is all about. Top industry professionals working together to discuss best practices and procedures to make sure the owner-operators, the drivers, and the motor coaches on our roads and highways are the safest and the best. We take this calling very seriously, and there's room for you and your company to get involved in the BISC. We encourage new owner-operators to collaborate, network, and learn with some of the best, most experienced people in the motor coach industry to make your company the safest it can be. The Bus Industry Safety Council will be at the ABA's Marketplace in Charlotte, North Carolina, January 5th through the 9th. Sign up, get involved, help us help you. After an accident is not the time to be obsessed with safety. With BISC, you'll learn how to be safe and stay safe. Go to our website, buses.org. Click on the link for the Bus Industry Safety Council, sponsored by the American Bus Association.
There's important news concerning Motorcoach Travel News. ABA is pleased to announce a new sponsor. Motorcoach Industries is joining us with a new environmental feature every month. The leading manufacturer of motorcoaches will explain the environmental benefits of motorcoaches and how our industry is doing so much to protect the environment by taking cars off the road and lowering carbon emissions. We're pleased to have MCI on board beginning in November on MTN.
This is a show that is business, and a lot of business happens right there. $80,000 worth of business comes from Marketplace to the average company.
That's John Dunham, the president of an economic consulting firm that did a comprehensive review of the economic impact of Marketplace. It showed that Marketplace generated nearly $80 million in business, a phenomenal return on investment for the delegates. With that, we're joined by ABA President and CEO Peter Pantuso. Marketplace really is a business development show, isn't it? Brings a lot of money in.
It absolutely is, Dan. I mean, there's no place where you can generate the amount of income for the investment you put into it. You know, I think Buddy Young, who's the chairman of Marketplace in Charlotte, really says it best when he says he goes to other shows in the industry to spend money. He goes to Marketplace to make money. The Dunham study showed that a 30-to-1 return on your investment for buyers and sellers is a huge return for a relatively small amount of money that you put into attending the show, paying to attend the show. And Marketplace is still doing great. Our registration numbers in all categories are anywhere from 10 to 20% above where they were in Grapevine. Our sponsors return at a 99% rate, showing the value that they perceive and receive as a result of attending Marketplace. It's going to be a great show in Charlotte. There's no question about that. We look forward to seeing everyone there.
Peter, we also have some big announcements about not just this upcoming Marketplace, but future ones as well.
We did. We just in the last couple of weeks announced the 2 new cities that we're taking Marketplace to in 2015, 2016. In 2015, we're going to St. Louis, and in 2016, we're going to Louisville. They're both great destinations. Both cities are undergoing tremendous transformation, a lot of redevelopment going on. The cities are excited to have us. There's a lot to see and do in each destination that's truly unique to those destinations. Great property, great convention centers. They're everything that we look for when we select a city.
Peter, you recently testified before Congress about the issue of Amtrak subsidies for their fares. So let's take a listen to the soundbite and then we'll talk about that.
The cost efficiency of bus travel is well documented. A round-trip ticket from D.C. to New York, for example, by bus, will cost somewhere between $36 and $58, or if you're lucky, you can do it for as little as $2. When the current Amtrak schedule prices the same round-trip fare between $98 and $300. And there's really only a modest difference in time between the regular train service and bus service.
When it comes to these subsidies, Amtrak is a subsidized service, the motorcoach industry is not. So what did you tell the members of Congress?
Well, you know, Congress wanted to have a comparison. On one hand, you have Amtrak, moves less than 40 million people a year and is heavily, heavily subsidized to the tune of well over $1 billion from Congress every single year. On the other hand, you have the motorcoach industry, which receives little or no subsidy and moves 700 million passengers annually. It's a stark contrast between the two modes. The motorcoach industry is safe, it's efficient, it has a small carbon footprint, and it does business as a private business as compared to Amtrak. But it's not really competition between the two modes, it's really a question of how do we, whether it's Amtrak or the motorcoach industry, get people out of their cars. The car at the end of the day is the real competition. And to move people fast, efficiently, safely, you've got to get them out of their cars first.
ABA President and CEO Peter Pantuso joining us on the October edition of Motorcoach Travel News. MTN continues in just a moment.
The American Bus Association knows that as a travel, tour, and motorcoach professional, you have to spend your money wisely. It's why we commissioned a study shortly after Marketplace to measure the business generated as a result of attending Marketplace. The independent economic report showed Marketplace 2012 generated $79 million in total booked business, nearly $60,000 per attendee. That's a 30-to-1 return on your investment.
That's a really big number. I'd be very pleased if I had a marketing budget where I could count on any kind of a guaranteed return. And so I think that that's very important for prospective attendees to think about. How am I getting money back on what I'm spending? why am I spending my marketing money and how much of it's going to come back to me.
ABA's Marketplace means business. The first and best travel and tourism conference of the year. Business, networking, education, and a lot of fun. Charlotte, North Carolina, January 5th through the 9th.
There's nothing like this that's ever been done in the motorcoach industry. The NTSB is offering for motorcoach owners, operators, and safety directors a one-day crisis management seminar. That's on January 10th, 2013 in Charlotte, North Carolina. The ABA and BISC are offering this unique program. NTSB professionals are doing the training. National Interstate Insurance is the sponsor of the event. The registration cost is only $199. Go to meetings department at buses.org to sign up and get more information. Seating is limited to 50 attendees. We still have room, so sign up now. The Motorcoach Travel and Tourism industry says goodbye to a longtime friend. Legendary entertainer Andy Williams died recently in Branson of cancer. Mr. Williams was 84. Andy Williams had an amazing career that began in the late 1930s as a young singer on an Iowa radio station with other family members. There were many years on television, 20 years as a headliner in Las Vegas, legendary Christmas specials, Grammys, gold records, and for the last 20-plus years of his life, Mr. Williams owned his own theater, the Moon River Theater in Branson, where he performed thousands of shows to sold-out audiences. Andy Williams helped turn Branson into the motorcoach destination it is today. We salute his amazing life and wish his family condolences on his passing. And finally, Motorcoach Travel News is celebrating its first anniversary with our partners Terrapin Blue Productions and McNeil Media. We look forward to bringing you the latest news each month about the motorcoach travel and tourism industry. I'm Dan Ronan in Washington. Thanks for joining us.